About to be reminded that the military-industrial complex for whom Joe Biden is a puppet is infinitely more dangerous than Donald Trump's offensive tweets. President Biden...
Wait, let's take a fucking step back here.
Tell the odds are not in your favor, and while they tell us to put our masks on, both literally and metaphorically, there's
what does metaphorically even mean? What?
Come off. The world is about to be reminded that the military-industrial complex for whom Joe Biden is a puppet is infinitely more dangerous than Donald Trump's offensive tweets.
Donald Trump was the unadulterated bitch of the military-industrial complex. Use my own banned words to show my amounts of anger. Ooh. Look, he increased drone strikes by huge amounts. He dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan. He increased drone strikes and peppered the Afghani landscape. He vetoed legislation to end our support for the Saudi war in Yemen. He covered up for the Saudis when they assassinated Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. He assassinated Jamal Khashoggi. Not Jamal. No, he assassinated Qasem Soleimani. He was with Benjamin Netanyahu every step of the way. What do you mean? He had John Bolton in his administration. He had Elliot Abrams in his administration. To the end, to the last day, he had Elliot Abrams in administration. He had Mike Pompeo and Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State. Rex Tillerson from an energy company, and Mike Pompeo, an unadulterated war hawk. What do you mean? The military-industrial complex didn't go away under Trump. It got drunk under Trump. The only thing it didn't like was the fact that Trump wasn't consistent. What does this even mean? Trump didn't start a new year. Biden started multiple wars, and he made slavery get great again in Libya. Well, the thing is, Trump had the ability to stop our involvement in the war in Yemen, and he decided, nah, let's increase it, and I'm going to veto and actively stop us from ending our wars in Yemen. And he increased the intensity of multiple of the wars we were involved in, and then expanded the war in Syria by pulling out and allowing Turkey to invade. In Libya, guess what? Biden did not support us going into Libya. He didn't support it. People like to think he did. He didn't. He has talked about this very publicly. He talked about it privately. There's multiple speeches of him talking about how behind closed doors, he was very clearly against getting involved in the war in Libya. That was Obama's initiative, not Biden's. I'm sorry that people don't like to get into the nitty-gritty details of the differences between Barack Obama and Joe Biden, but he was not a big supporter of an involvement in Libya. And then you leak me a thing too about Obama administration. Again, listen to my words. Obama and Biden. Okay, let me do something quick. Biden was literally the VP. Okay, do I have to fucking source this shit to you? Okay, I'll source this shit to you. I'll do it right now. I wasn't. Where was it? It was the Center for Foreign Policy. No, it was Council of Foreign Relations Biden speech. Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. Here it is.
Well, good afternoon.
Okay, now where's the transcript? Hey, he got more likes than dislikes. See, he won the popularity contest. That's how the fucking conversations work. But let's see if we can get to the transcript. Does anybody know how to get the transcript? Is it settings? How do you get the transcript? Does anybody remember? I'll just type in Libya and get to the conversation about Libya quick. Where is it? Where is the transcript? Where's the transcript? Where do I find the transcript? Does anybody know where I can find the transcript? By the way, this is widely known in the foreign policy community. You click the bit. Fuck, can somebody please tell? Fine, never mind. We don't get to look at the transcript. Fuck me. Never mind. This thing. Is it this thing? Report. Okay, there's no transcript. Well, in this video, if anybody wants to take the time to watch it, he clearly talks about how behind closed doors he was against it. This is widely known in the foreign policy community. This is not a well-kept fucking secret. He, in the Obama administration, did not want to get involved in Syria. And you know what? In a lot of ways, he was like Mike Pence in this scenario, where he might have not supported everything that Obama did, but he'd rather be in the conversation, giving his thoughts on it, than outside of it. So why did Obama do it? Because Obama is not Joe Biden. Okay, here, 1 second. Let me show you, let me try something. Executive branch power structure. Let's look this up. Images. Huh. So if you look here, now this might be hard to see. Let's see if we can zoom in. Zoom, 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 zoom. Huh. President seems to be above vice president. So it almost feels like the president gets the final say in the matter, and the vice president doesn't. So I think that might have been the reason. Anyway, let's get back to what we were actually. So if anybody wants to fact check me on this, just somebody watch this and tell me if I'm a dumbass. If you really want to. If you think I'm wrong, then there's the source. Okay? Well, then at least Obama did make slavery great again. By the way, here's the funniest thing, ridiculous. Slavery existed in Libya under Gaddafi. So there's the last thing. Slavery was already a thing in Libya under Gaddafi. It expanded once the nation was destabilized. But I do want to make that point clear, too. Slavery was a thing during Gaddafi as well in Libya. Where were we? Oh, here we are.
President Biden is considering reversing Trump's drawdown in Iraq by adding thousands of troops to combat growing terror threats in the region. Wow, it took the resistance president all of 24 hours to turn the war machine back on. We're sorry for that 4-year interruption, and now back to our regularly scheduled program.
They do realize that Donald Trump, in 4 years, bombed more, used drone strikes more than Obama did in 8, right? Do they not really? Trump literally had to restrict drone strike data from the public because he didn't want us seeing what the fuck he was doing with drones. So he increased drone strike data and removed transparency. What is this point? Look, if he was going from President Jill fucking Stein to Biden, then maybe there would be a point here. But there isn't. You're going from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. I don't understand the point.
Finally, a return to normalcy. Biden may be about to return American foreign policy to the Obama days of catastrophic interventionism, arming jihadists, toppling secular leaders.
What are you talking about? Donald Trump proposed an invasion of Venezuela. What do you mean? You fucking don't. Donald Trump was in favor of the invasion of fucking Iraq. Donald Trump, unlike Joe Biden, was in favor of a full-blown fucking intervention in Libya to kill Gaddafi. What is you talk? You can't fucking stand on a high horse, you piece of shit. There's no horse to stand on here. There is no high horse. On every single foreign policy issue, Joe Biden is better than Donald Trump. Every single one. Okay, here's something. Remember when Donald Trump publicly on the campaign trail advocated for torture and gave it a big thumbs up? Remember when Donald Trump on the campaign trail said we should bomb civilians in the Middle East? Remember when Donald Trump publicly said we should commit war crimes against the state of Iran? And bomb cultural sites? Stuff of zero strategic significance, and had a fucking number in his head for the amount of cultural sites we should be bombing? And you want to get on a fucking high horse about foreign policy? Get out of here.
Empowering Islamists and causing international migrant crises, Middle East 2021 to 2025. But hey, at least if you want to complain about any of that, the White House website will guarantee to record your proper pronoun.
This is a good thing. Fuck you. I mean, what do you mean? Oh my god, how can you suck the dick of Trump for 4 years like he's this anti-imperial president and then do this 180 when Joe Biden is undoubtedly much better than Donald Trump on foreign policy in every conceivable way? Not even close. The amount of look, this isn't having blinders on. This is 2 eye patches, okay? He's just not looking.
President Biden has removed the Diet Coke button. When I interviewed Donald Trump in 2019, we became fascinated by what the little red button did. Eventually, Trump pressed it, and a butler swiftly brought in a Diet Coke on a silver platter. It's gone now.
By the way, why do you say this in an obnoxious voice? This is a funny tweet. Why is he saying it in like a stupid fucking voice? This is a funny tweet. The fact that Donald Trump had a Diet Coke button is funny. That is actually funny. That is hilarious. The idea of him pressing a button for a butler to carry in a Diet Coke is hilarious. Even more so if you remember all of his tweets about how he's never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah, are you sure it just hasn't been repurposed to order drone strikes on Middle Eastern wedding parties?
Donald Trump did more drone strikes than Obama did in his first term. What the fuck are you talking about? Why? What are you talking about? There's no moral superiority when it comes to drone strikes on this issue. There's none. It's not like oh my god, we had the military industrial complex beforehand. Trump was he was fucking dapping with all the fucking Arabs in the Middle East and being really chill with them, and they were all cool and they loved him. And then Biden came in and he was like, I hate the peace, and then started dropping bombs everywhere. Trump got in there, dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan, peppered the Afghanistan side landscape with drone strikes, increased drone strikes drastically while restricting more data on drone strikes. Then he increased support for the Saudi war in Yemen, publicly flaunted support for the Saudi war in Yemen, made the argument that the jobs produced by them were more important than the Yemeni lives lost to it, and then vetoed legislation to stop or support for the Saudi war in Yemen. Did nothing to pressure on the humanitarian issue on that side of it. While leaving, declared the Houthis a terrorist organization, which then made humanitarian organizations have to scramble because they have to work with the Houthis to deploy humanitarian aid in a country that is 90% imports when it comes to food, has to import medicine. The WHO had to evacuate its staff, and all these organizations had to scramble for licenses. The banks that are working with many of these medical care organizations are going to pull because they don't want to have unilateral sanctions placed upon them. Trump killed Soleimani, covered for the Saudis when it came to the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, called El-Sisi his favorite dictator, was the fire and fury guy before being the shaking Kim Jong-un's hand guy, before fucking that up and then going back to fire and fury while Kim Jong-un blows up the South Korean liaison office. What's the point here? Donald Trump is 10 times worse than Joe Biden on foreign policy. It's not even a question. He proposed to invade Venezuela. In closed-door meetings, he told Xi Jinping that the camps in China, the concentration camps, good on them. He expanded the war in Syria through his withdrawal from northeastern Syria. And oh, well, he was going to bring the troops home. He just deployed them in Iraq and then deployed them back in Syria to protect the oil. And in the meantime, all that territory he left out were filled up by Turkish-backed terror groups which pulled politicians out of cars and executed them, man. I don't understand how anybody could look at Donald Trump, then look at Joe Biden and say, damn, man, we have Joe Biden as president now. We have truly given up to the military-industrial complex. The Hawks have taken over. Now that Elliot Abrams no longer has a job. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God. I can't believe it. The administration that had John Bolton in it is gone. Oh, the Hawks are truly shaky now. Now they're gonna have to, instead of John Bolton, we have Robert Malley, the biggest hawk of them all. Get out of here. Oh, he also pulled out of the Iran deal. There's another one.
I am especially proud to be the first president in decades who has started no new wars.
Oh, fuck, you piece of shit. Okay, so while this plays, let me just be very clear. He intensified the existing wars and then restricted our information on looking at these wars and stopped efforts to end our support for current wars like the one in Saudi Arabia. That's your amazing accomplishment? Get the fuck out of here. Not to mention, that's no new wars were started despite Trump. He wanted to start new wars. He wanted to invade Venezuela. He wanted to start new wars, and it was other people just not paying attention to him that stopped it.
Real, authentic, grassroots resistance is back to save America. The Boeing Company, Goldman Sachs, and Bank of America.
Wow. Wait, man, I'm sure if I look up Donald Trump's contributors, they're all grassroots. No corporations contributed to Donald Trump's campaign. I'm sure it was he funded it himself, all himself. Right, guys? If I looked it up right now, he funded it himself, and it was little grannies sending him checks full of money, right? Like $20 checks. He funded it himself? True. I don't even need to look it up, guys. He funded it himself. I'm sure Donald Trump did not appoint disastrous labor secretaries and put Rex Tillerson in his administration at one point because he might be owned by these corporations.
Yay! 4 years of bombing kids in the Middle East while hollowing out America's economy for the benefit of weapons contractors, Wall Street, and predatory transnational corporations.
All those words could be used to describe Donald Trump's administration. Look, if you took that statement literally, that could just be a statement to describe the like 2016 to 2020. Unironically. The only things I would add is propose invasions of new countries and restrict information on that bombing and increase that bombing by massive amounts and encourage torture.
All hail the resistance.
Oh, and encourage the bombing of civilians and war crimes openly.
Just a hunch, but if your political consensus is shared and amplified by every major cultural institution, establishment media empire, and billionaire tech oligarch in the world, maybe, just maybe, call me crazy, but maybe you're not the resistance.
There's separate interests and separate camps that have separate interests that combat. Look, I don't even need to, because everybody fucking knows. Donald Trump is also owned by these corporations. If I looked up right now Donald Trump's campaign contributors, they're all not gonna be little grannies signing checks. They're gonna be big corporations with interests, okay? Big corporations with interests, and a lot of them are gonna be people with foreign policy interests as well. So don't get it twisted, okay? Don't play high and mighty when the person you support, everything you're saying literally applies to them, okay? It all literally applies to them, and to a much greater extent on all accounts. The thing that gets me about Paul Joseph Watson is he says his stuff so confidently and with so many mocking voices that he makes himself look like such an ass on his own that my ability to compound it is ineffective due to the dumb faces and mocking voices he constantly does. But he just says it and people just believe it. If we look at the like to dislike ratio, it's going to be massively liked, which means of course he won the election. Because none of these people really thought about what the fuck he just said about foreign policy or corporations or anything. Biden, America is back. Small Syrian children. Ah, shit. Here we go again. Trump bombed empty Assad military bases and pulled out of northeastern Syria, which started a whole new expansion of the war. He completely undermined Operation Inherent Resolve. He expanded the war in Syria. Just transphobia. Fraudulent, basic fucking bullshit about it being a fraudulent election. Conspiracy theory nonsense. America now is a man who publicly touches young girls and inappropriately in charge. That's so progressive. Trump is literally friends with Jeffrey. He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, man. The amount of allegations against him from minors. Oh my. There is no allegation from any minor against Joe Biden. There are allegations from people saying that Donald Trump touched them inappropriately when they were minors. Just throwing that out there.
This leftist celebrated Biden's victory by defying his dying Trump-supporting father's wishes to be buried, by having him cremated, dumping his ashes in the garbage, then bragging about it on Reddit for dopamine and social media clout.
Hans, are we the baddies?
Can't be said enough. We toppled a dictator. Because as everybody knows, the only way to topple a dictator is to vote him out of office in a democratic election. How white liberals think...
Wait, does he admit that it was democratic and not fraudulent? Wait, let me look it up. Paul Joseph Watson election fraud. Let's see what comes up. Not only has he made claims about election fraud in our country, he's also made it in other countries. In defense of fucking Bolsonaro, the one who wanted to say his child would be off better dead. Okay. Oh God.
How white liberals think fascism works. You're finished. No, please.
No more waking up at 3 a.m. full of existential dread. Tonight we sleep like we used to when we were 5, and we fell asleep in the backseat of the car, knowing that Dad was in charge and nothing bad could happen. Good night, America.
Yeah, Dad's in charge now.
Come on, man.
But at least Biden's call for healing and unity has been well received by his supporters. The vast majority of whom continue to call for the creation of an NKVD-style secret police to treat Trump supporters like domestic terrorists, have them...
As far as I know, that has not been any claim or any bill proposed to create an NKVD.
removed from society and thrown into re-education camps.
I've never seen any proposal from any politician or anybody of any notoriety really pushing for re-education camps for Trump supporters.
Radical extreme conservatives, also known as domestic terrorists.
So much heat.
Look, if somebody plants bombs in the nation's capital, that is terrorism. Radical extreme conservatives. Terrorists. The people who place bombs. Terrorists. Paul, I know you didn't have a problem when someone said Muslim extremist terrorists. You didn't have any problem with that. Could it be because... Okay, you know what? Guys, I would hate to think. I would hate to think. But do you think it might have to be partially? Partially. Because they're brown. Could that be it? Could it? Could it be? No. No, that can't be it. It's too far.
Healing, so much unity. Quick question, Joe. But how can there be unity and healing when many of your supporters want to literally expunge tens of millions of Americans from society?
Him and his supporters. What does he mean? Does he mean like some random Twitter account? Or does he mean like the vast majority of his supporters want to take fucking Trump supporters and throw them at Biden re-education camps, and if they don't get re-educated, we're gonna do a Gentile style system of... What is he alleging that is being supported here? This is just complete hyperbole with like no backing to it. He's just throwing shit out into the spectrum and people are just eating it out. He just completely just gobbling it up. Feed me more bullshit. Please, more bullshit. That's what's currently going on here. Don't you know the liberals are the real racists? Yeah. Yeah, true, that must be it. There's no racism involved at all when you're voting for a guy who, you know, what was it, called for banning Muslims.